Hello everyone, my name is Richard Santoro and I welcome you to Third and Zen, the YouTube channel where every week we are sharing a spiritual message to nourish ourselves, heart, mind, body, and soul. Thank you for checking in today, whether you're new to the channel and just discovering it, or if you're a friend and a loved one who's been coming around here and there. Either way, thank you for stopping by. If you want to share this channel or this message, this video with anyone you think would benefit, I'd appreciate it. I'm sure they would as well. If you feel so moved to like the video, subscribe to the channel, that does help get the word out. I'd appreciate that too. Either way, thank you for you. Thank you for stopping by. And I hope this video finds you doing well. I know we are in the middle of January, the winter season. It's colder, it's darker earlier, all that. We're not feeling great physically, a lot of people, our immune system, and still COVID, and just all the stuff we have going on around us, all the stuff we have going on in our everyday lives. I know we have a lot, so I hope you're doing as well as possible. I hope you're caring for yourself and showing yourself love, kindness, patience, all that good stuff. So, with all that out of the way, let's get started with today, shall we? Everyone, as I said in my introduction, the point of this channel is to nourish ourselves, heart, mind, body, and soul. Do that every week with a message, but also with a little bit of how we introduce the message, how we prepare ourselves, how we get ourselves into that space. So let's do that together right now. Everyone, take a nice deep breath. Take a moment. Just breathe. Just breathe. I know for a lot of people, the days, the week are so busy, and we often don't find time to just stop, to just give ourselves permission to take a breath and just simply be. So let's do that. Just breathe. Take a minute, breathe. Have no judgment on yourself. If thoughts come and go in your mind, it's okay. The mind's going to do its own thing, and sometimes we can keep it quiet. Sometimes thoughts pop in and out. No judgment. So just sit, just breathe. If you're able, let your breathing be the focus of your mind. If not, just be still. Just simply be. Maybe put your hands together or on your chest and just feel the tactile sensation. Let that be your focus. It's a good mindfulness technique. Just let the touch be the focus. Let the chair, the feeling of your body being supported. And either way, just soften. Just ease. Just be still. Ease any tension you might be holding in your posture, your shoulders and your back, your brow, your face, your jaw. Just give yourself permission to do nothing but be still. And just breathe. As I said, we do this to nourish ourselves, heart, mind, and soul. Also to prepare ourselves for the message, just to still ourselves. But again, it's a good moment to just care, heart, mind, body, and soul. Take a few more breaths. Amen. Okay, let's get started with today's message, shall we? Today, I'm going to go a little off script and just speak a little bit more from the heart. So, this has been an interesting journey for me doing this channel. As I said very early on in my introductory video, this channel is a way for me to revisit sermons and messages that I've delivered over almost 20 years, and some I haven't done at all because I'm not still attached to the message, or for whatever reason it wasn't applicable, and many of them I've changed, kept the heart of it, but done a lot of alterations and edits. And in addition to all that, it's been for me so far a really interesting journey. The journey itself has been really fruitful, really interesting. Not going to go too far into that, but as this channel goes, I'll explore that and I'll share some of that. I'm going to do that right now. I was looking at previous messages and I noticed something. I noticed that 2 weeks in a row, and I'll share these videos, links to these videos in the description thingy down below, all that stuff. 2 previous sermons I did. One entitled A Time to Re-Examine, which was about doubting Thomas, and one entitled The True Vine, which was about Jesus, the descriptor he gave to himself. I am the true vine. So 2 messages, one about doubting Thomas and one about Jesus, the true vine. And I just noticed that one message warned of labeling and defining somebody unfairly and in general, and that was the one about Thomas. And on the flip side, one lauded and celebrated a true label and definition of Jesus. And it was a label and a definition of Jesus that was given to us by Jesus himself. So I looked at that and reflected on that, and I just noticed the duality of those 2 messages. And there's a message right there. It's up to us to define ourselves and not for anyone else to define us. And it's not for us to define or label others. So we define ourselves. Nobody else defines us. And we don't label and define others. So I noticed that. So that leads me into today's message, mostly. I had a sermon entitled, Who Am I? And that's where I noticed these 2 previous sermons. And it's about defining ourselves. It's about asking that valuable, fruitful, deep question, who am I? And maybe to a further extent, what do I want to be? Who am I? What do I want to be? It's a valuable question. Take a moment. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I want to be? Maybe we've been asking ourselves that frequently. And it's a valuable, common question in our human condition and in our journey and in our spiritual journey. Scripture is filled with shifting identities. Saul to Paul, fishermen to apostles, the outcasts and the oppressed becoming beloved and seen and important and valuable individuals. And in addition to that, as we alluded to with Jesus defining himself as the true vine, Jesus was so clear in who he was and what he wanted to do and who he wanted to be. There are so many different ways to come at his ministry, to look at his ministry, to break down his ministry and his time. And a huge, huge defining part of it was him saying, this is who I am. And in addition to that, also saying, I'm not who you keep saying I should be. I'm not who you keep defining me as. This is who I am. I define me, and this is who it is. In the Gospel of John, he lays out 7 I am statements. One of them, as I alluded to a few times, I am the true vine. So Jesus was very clear about this is who I am. And this is not who I am. He defined himself. We define ourselves. There is no more powerful statement, no more powerful 2-word phrase than I am. Because what we say after that defines us. And it does change. It does shift. Moment by moment, day by day, week by week, year by year. Okay. All that being said, again, let's stop for a moment. Bigger picture. Who am I? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? Those are valuable questions. They are often very tough, very challenging questions. Even in the best of times, it's challenging for all of us to sometimes say, who am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? It's challenging in the best of times. It's also been particularly present for a lot of us in the last couple of years with the lockdowns and the pandemic life that we've been living in 2020, 2021, and now going into 2022. For a lot of people, their more than normal has been an ever-shifting identity, examination of identity. Who am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? Shifting from the spiritual, scriptural, Jesus-y side of it to the more everyday side of it, for lack of a better phrase, forgive me there. It's okay for us to have a shifting identity, shifting definition of who we are, what we want to do, and who we want to be. And let me just pause here for a moment and touch on that. In our society, we really have maybe done a disservice to ourselves, to others around us, in how we've cliched midlife crises in our culture. We look at people when they shift identities, or they start to question, when they get to that crux, that crossroad. And, oh, you're having a midlife crisis. We've thrown those cliches of people buying their sports cars, or getting tattoos, or throwing around that trope of finding oneself. Like it's, people doing it. But, the pioneers of psychology, all of them, however they approached it, and many were different, but they all, in looking at the human journey of our personality and who we are as people and individuals, they describe our ever-shifting identity and our continual need for growth and movement in our place within ourselves and in our place within the world around us. So again, I'm here to reaffirm for us that it's okay, and please hear me with intention, it's okay to constantly ask, who am I? And what do I want to do? What do I want to be? We change. And that's okay. And don't ever let anyone tell you differently, especially considering the last couple of years we've had, which is really, 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 the last couple of years are so metaphorical for us being seeds planted in darkness, struggling to break out and blossom and change and grow into something completely different. And if you've been feeling that in any way, shape, or form, again, it's okay even in the most normal of times, and it's supremely okay considering the journey we've all been on the last couple of years. Bottom line, I'm probably going to say bottom line 50 times, who am I? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Is worth exploring. There's value in it, and it's okay. Now, I do also want to recognize that it's a challenge. It's not easy. It's not easy to answer that question. I wrote this sermon, 15, 20 years ago. I forget the time, but when I was at a crossroads, one of many crossroads I've been in my life, but I was at a big crossroads of what do I want to do? I have a few options, and I'm not sure what I want to do. And it wasn't easy. So that's where the fruit of this sermon came from, or that's where this actual sermon came from. And part of why I'm not delivering the sermon verbatim is because it is a little different, because I'm different. It was 20 years ago. But the question still applies. Who am I? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? What do I want to do? Now, again, it's challenging when we're at that crossroads. It's not always easy. It's uncertain, and that's challenging. So I want to help us just a little bit, because when we can't find the answers to that so easily, there is a great default, a great fallback option, a great constant for us that can always be there, even when we can't fully answer the who am I, what do I want to be. We can still define ourselves in amazing ways. We can still broaden who we are and broaden the answer to I am in beautiful and wonderful and best version of ourselves ways, because we are mosaics. We are so many things. So let me just say this again. Nobody tells us who we are. Only we get to do that. But I'm going to offer some gentle, friendly advice on how to help define ourselves in those moments where we're struggling to define ourselves. Here it is. If we can't find what feels like a good, definitive, comfortable, solid answer to who am I? I am this. I want to do this. I want to do that. Remember, the best version of ourselves, we can still be love. We can still be patience. We can still be goodness. We can still be faithfulness. We can still be mercy. We can still be kindness. We can still be patience, which I think I said already, but maybe it bears repeating. We can still be faithfulness. We can still be mercy. We can still be empathy. We can still be understanding. We can still be all the best versions and qualities and characteristics and traits of our human existence. And when I say we can be them, I mean we don't just have to, or we don't just exhibit those qualities here and there, but we can literally be those qualities to the extent where we are defined by them. Let me repeat that. When we can't find the definitive answer to who am I? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? The best versions of ourselves at all times, the constant default can always still be us, defined by I am love, I'm goodness, I'm kindness, I'm honesty, I'm integrity, I am empathy, I am gentleness. So as we journey, maybe we still will continue to ask ourselves those big life identity defining questions, and in the meantime we can fill out our canvas with I'm love, I'm goodness, I'm gentleness, I am empathy, I'm acceptance, I'm gentleness, I'm understanding, I'm all those beautiful and wonderful best version of ourselves qualities and traits. So that's advice number 1 on that. Advice and reminder number 2 on the who am I journey is a reminder that no matter what, no matter how we are defining ourselves or trying to find our identity or who and what we want to be, huge reminder that no matter what, we are valuable, we are precious, we are worthy of love and kindness and patience and all those traits I just referenced. Being sick, being anxious, being scared, being tired, being worried, being pained, being fatigued, being flawed, being mistake prone, being anything is not a character flaw. It is not a defining trait. It is not a nullifier for who and what we are. I just want to remind us that. All those things doesn't nullify who we are. If we want to use those things, those traits, as definers of our identity, we can in the best ways. That's okay. That's okay. But they do not nullify our value, our worth. We are still precious. We are still valuable. We are still worthy of love and beauty and all that wonderful stuff. And another reminder to that point, we can be multiple things. We can be duality, multiple polar opposite things. We can be anxious and at peace. We can be scared and strong. We can be worried and faith. So it's okay for us to be multiple things because we are a mosaic, often of broken pieces put together to form a beautiful whole. So again, being sick, being tired, being flawed, being fatigued, being scared, anxious, depressed, anything, these are not character flaws. These do not nullify or negate our worth, our value, or any of it. I want to remind us that as we journey and ask, who am I? Because at times when we ask, who am I? Those parts of ourselves that maybe are existing right now or have existed or are just there, they're going to come to the surface as well. So hold space for that with love and remember that it doesn't nullify your worth. I know I'm repeating myself a little bit. but it bears repeating. So, I'd like to close us out with this off-the-cuff, from-the-heart unique message today. Looking at many of my sermons and messages, one thing that happened frequently is that the journey of getting the message, the journey of how the message came to be, came to the surface, or how part of it came to be, the how-to, the nuts, was often a big part of the message, and that's true today as well. Again, I had a message from almost 20 years ago entitled, Who Am I? Big question, deep question, powerful, existential question, but I wasn't crazy about the message for today, for now. It worked then, but how much was I going to change? How much was I going to use? All that. So I was uncertain with this message. And this past week, I was watching a TED Talk. I haven't watched a TED Talk in a while, and I was watching a TED Talk. And going into watching the TED Talk, I was thinking, hey, maybe I'll get a spark, some inspiration, which has happened. TED Talks have been valuable for me. Has have a lot of people speaking. They inspire us anyway. So I put on this TED Talk, and the heart of the message was 3 questions we can ask ourselves. And the first question right out of the gate from the speaker was, who are you? Who are you? And I smiled, I laughed, and it hit me like, all right, I'm going into watching this TED Talk, hoping to get a spark and an inspiration on a message to deliver, because the message of who am I doesn't really feel like it's working for me. So maybe TED Talk, you can speak to me, universe, God, tell me through this TED Talk. And the TED Talk then comes on, it's good, it's 30 seconds in, and the question is, who are you? Pretty clear and evident sign right there. It was beautiful, and the talk itself was beautiful. And just to give you the heart of that TED Talk, 3 questions that we can use to just keep us grounded, to just help us. And number 1 was, who are you? Who are you? It's good not just in a big, deep, soul-defining way, but also in a very present moment, reorienting way. And number 2 was, where are you? Where are you? It grounds us. Where are you in life? Where are you in this moment? Also, where are you not? So keep yourself in that present moment. And what do you want? What do you want? We travel, we bounce, what do you want? Who are you? Where are you? What do you want? They were good, grounding questions. But for me in that moment, it was a good affirmation to deliver today's message. So as we close this message, let me recap. Number 1, we don't get to define or label others. That is not up to us. So let's be careful of that. Number 2, it's up to us and only us to define ourselves, to identify, to give ourselves the identity that we are, that we choose, that we feel, that we be. Number 3, Jesus was very clear in who he was, to the point where he fought, not literal fight, but he fought and worked and struggled to define his identity and to teach his identity and to teach what his identity was not. Number 4, it's okay to be uncertain of who we are, what we want to do, what we want to be. It's okay at any point, every point in our lives, no matter where we are in our journey, to shift in who we are, to have duality and all different aspects of our identity. It doesn't have to be one big, I am the true vine. That's it. Jesus had many aspects, facets like a diamond to his identity, and so do we. We are mosaics. Number 5, our pain and our challenges don't define us unless we want them to, in a beautiful way. And they never, ever, ever nullify our value or our worth. Remember that. Number 6, when we're uncertain who we are and who we want to be, if we're uncertain about answering those big questions, no matter what the answer to who am I, the best versions of ourselves, we can always be love. We can always be kindness. we can always be goodness. We can always be those best and most beautiful character traits. Those can always be our default, always be our constant, no matter the other ever-shifting aspects of who am I. And last, number 7, the last recap, the last reminder. Who are you? Who am I? What do I want to be? What do you want to be? Totally up to you. Who am I? Who are you? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? It's totally up to you. And it's okay to ask those questions and find the answers. Thanks be to God. Amen. Okay, thank you again. This has been an interesting journey for me, this entire channel. It's shifting, changing at all times, but in a beautiful, wonderful way. That's me, my journey with this, but a big part of it is gratitude. Gratitude for you for stopping by today and anytime you've ever stopped by the channel. I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence. And thank you. Thank you for being here. If you know anybody, again, that you think would benefit from it, that could use some nourishment for themselves, heart, mind, and soul, feel free to share. Feel free to share. I wish you nothing but peace and love on your journey today and going forward. Remember, be kind to yourself. Life isn't easy. Life isn't easy post-2020, 2021 pandemic. Life isn't easy in general. So always be kind to yourself. Always be loving to yourself. Always be patient with yourself. I wish you peace on your journey. And that's it. That's all I got for today. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, great week. I love you. God bless.